Heyyo, Go players. It's Skilled Brown Magician here, and I gotta say, it feels like GOAT format TED Talks up in here because the last video, as of 2 seconds ago when I checked it, uh, it had over 350 views, and I have over 20 subs just from the one video. And I can't tell you guys how much that means to me. Uh, I've been very hesitant about posting any of my deck profiles on any sort of platform because I'm just very self-conscious about it. And I have these little dinky deck ideas, but I think they're pretty cool. But I wasn't sure if other people thought they would be cool. And just by the first video, I could tell that people enjoyed it. And I had so many awesome people in the comments give me shout outs. So shout outs to everyone in the comments that left something nice for me because that's totally why I'm here with another deck profile for you that I'm pretty excited about because it's a pretty silly one. And just like the last one, it's definitely off the beaten path. But let me get into this one. It's my SEALMASTER JUTSU deck, and it's revolving around a vanilla monster. I know the vanillas, right? It's revolving around a vanilla you've probably never seen before, and the spell card, which is something you've probably never seen before, but it has super cool art. So let's check it out. Okay, so let's look at this monstrosity. And if you hear munching, that's my dog. She's chewing on a bone in the background. I have to distract her while I show off this spicy deck. Okay, so here's the key card. It's Talisman of Trap Sealing, and it's dependent because you can only activate this card while there's a face-up SEALMASTER Meisai on your side of the field. While this card is face-up on the field, trap cards cannot be activated, and the effects of face-up trap cards on the field are negated. When SEALMASTER Meisai is removed from the field, destroy this card. So this entire deck revolves around this card and this vanilla SEALMASTER Meisai, level 3, 1100 attack, and he's a spellcaster. He's a dark. One of the few people who has a good command of talismans. His history is a mystery. I have no idea what any of that means and why he even exists, but he's basically like a 2-card Jinzo with this spell card, so you have to have both, which doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it feels really cool when you normal summon SEALMASTER Meisai and your opponent is like, what is this monster? And I always laugh because I summon him, I normal summon, and then I always say, "K?" question mark. And of course they're gonna say okay because they have no idea what SEALMASTER Meisai is all about, right? And then you drop this on them, and then that's when they change something usually because they're like, oh, okay, so he's a Jinzo. But I had to get rid of either SEALMASTER or I get rid of Talisman and they go away. So the weakness is that according to Talisman of Trap Sealing, if SEALMASTER gets popped, then that also gets popped too. So let me explain kind of some of the cards here, and I'll kind of backtrack. So I don't want the Trap Sealing card to get chained to by another trap, let's say Dust Tornado, right? If Dust Tornado, right, you normal summon Meisai, you activate Trap Sealing, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to activate one more trap, I'm going to activate Dust Tornado, and I'll get rid of Talisman of Trap Sealing. And then now you just have an 1100 body on board, which does nothing for you. And it was a waste of a normal summon, which unfortunately can't happen, but that's why you back it up with Royal Decree. And it seems a little redundant because, of course, if you're running Talisman of Trap Sealing, then why would you double up and play Royal Decree? Well, originally this was Solemn Judgment, but I decided on Royal Decree because it stops any trap. So it can be it's more general, right? And it can apply to more situations. Obviously, Solemn Judgment, this whole fact that it's a counter trap and that it's spell speed 3 is what makes it better than Royal Decree because I've definitely normal summoned SEALMASTER, activated Trap Seal, and then they'll chain, like I've had someone chain Dust Tornado, I chain Decree, and then they chain Solemn Judgment. So it's interchangeable. If you want to run Solemn here, you can, but I preferred Royal Decree because it covers everything. And if you can open with like a Scapegoat and you turn it into Tear, and you have Tear and Decree, that's a pretty fat seal, right? And the whole premise of this deck is that you're trying to lock down your opponent with all of these seal jutsus, which I'll show you in the next slide. But basically, you're just trying to lock them down and you're trying to clog the board so much that when you activate your creature swap, United Restand, Tear combo in combination with your Tsukiyomi and Night Assailant, infinite monster removal lock, and then your tribute Tear after sucking up a monster to bring out Zaborg to pop another monster to activate United Restand because you have some extra goat tokens and you make him into like a 3,500, sorry, not 35, like 50 something, 60, 600 monster. He becomes pretty impressive, right? When he becomes like 6K, 5K, and then you just swing for game, it's kind of funny. So some of the cards that set you up with this is obviously you need SEALMASTER, and the way you access him is you use that card that they use in some of the Exodia decks. You use Emissary of the Afterlife. He's basically a Sanguine for level 3 or lower normal monsters. If he gets sent from the field to the graveyard, just like Sanguine, he basically adds SEALMASTER to your hand. Basically, you use Emissary and SEALMASTER, you just use them as knockbait. You just set them all day long. If they knock your SEALMASTER, who cares? You have 2 more. If they knock your Emissary, who cares? You're just trying to get them to use their knocks. The reason you're trying to get them to use their knocks is because you're running triple Magician of Faith and then double Night Assailant, and you don't want them to get knocked. There's a way of hitting them with another Seal Jutsu, as I like to call in this deck, because, we're running the SEALMASTER Meisai. There's a seal. You see, he's got his seal jutsus in his hands. He's not raving. He's flashing his seal jutsus. So there's a way of protecting them from knock, which is kind of funny. And I'll show you that. We also have Sook just to take advantage of this. And basically, we can just keep looping Sook with Night Assailant to keep destroying their whatever monsters they have, or you can just keep using Sook with Magician of Faith, and you can just keep getting your spells back, and you can keep going into your Metamorphosis plays. Or you can, one time I've already double Delinquent Duo'd someone on a turn, and I took 4 cards out of their hand. That was really, I felt horrible because I hate this card. But yeah, there's all sorts of things you can do with that. All these next cards, it's just standard stuff, Scapegoats, right, for your meta plays. You're running, triple Magician of Faith, which also fuels your meta plays. You have your Trinity. We have United Restand because we're running Scapegoats and we are playing offensively. You could stack this on top of a Tear, and you can make him like super high attack depending on whatever monster he gobbled up. And then this is the interesting one, is Prohibition. This is what makes your Magician of Faith and your Night Assailant, they're invulnerable to knock, because you drop this, you say Nobleman of Crossout, and then they can't use that card as long as this card's out, which is super hilarious. And what's nice about this card is that going into game 2, you can actually, when you drop this card, you just name whatever outs that they were using in their deck. So it's pretty versatile, and it's kind of cool because you're running 3 of them, and it just adds to another layer. And there was one game where I was so close, and I actually called Lightning Vortex because it was what I thought was the only out. And then the guy was like, "Oh man, you were so close with Lightning Vortex." But then he summoned Tribe, and then that's how he got me. So Prohibition can definitely, if you're thinking smart, you can think of, okay, according to the composition of my board right now, I can call this card and it'll protect me. That's like the card that I have to worry about because it's the card that they're running, right? If you know they're running Book of Moon, that could potentially be really bad for you, right? Because they could flip your Tear face down. They could flip your SEALMASTER face down because it gets around Decree. So that's like the whole premise of the deck is you're just trying to form a bunch of locks, slow them down until you can perform your little creature swap and scapegoat play, and then you just swing and you swing into their scapegoat. They can't activate any traps. They can't activate any traps. Even if they get rid of SEALMASTER, if you have Decree, they still can't activate traps. They can't knock any of your Magician of Fate. So you just keep recurring all of your power cards, right? And then you have your creature swap when you're ready to make your swing. And then because you're running a light and a dark count, you're running one BLS just so you can get that banish. And honestly, since it's a stall, you could just sit on BLS and then you can just keep banishing with his effect since it goes face up or face down. So just because we're looking at SEALMASTER Meisai here, I wanted to show you the trap card. So it's cool, the trap card actually stops spell sealing. So I'm going to have to show you guys a deck profile that I've been building around the trap version. So it's still running SEALMASTER, but it's just running the trap card, which stops all spells, which I think that could be potentially even more annoying. All right, so going to the last slide, I just want to show you the kind of ridiculous amount of ways that you can lock your opponent with this deck. Originally, I was going to call this SEALMASTER Lockdown, but I just thought SEALMASTER Jutsu was a little more fitting. It fits his card art, and I just thought it was more hype. So first off, if you get into your Thousand Eyes Restrict play, that's a pain. That's always a pain to deal with, right? Obviously, if you have Thousand Eyes Restrict and a Decree, that makes it even more of a pain. Once you have that set up, you throw on your additional layer. I didn't even realize the SEALMASTER Meisai was backwards. But you throw on your additional layer because since you have Thousand Eyes out, you can't attack. So that's when your SEALMASTER becomes invincible. So you bring out SEALMASTER, and then he's invincible because he can't be attacked. And then that makes Talisman an additional layer of no traps on top of your Royal Decree, right? And if you're sitting on a set Royal Decree, you can normal summon SEALMASTER, activate trap sealing. That's when they're going to chain whatever their removal is. You're just hoping it's not MST, right? You're hoping it's not some sort of spell removal. If it's a trap removal, boom, you just activate Royal Decree. You say, nope, none of your traps are gonna work now. And it's like a double lockdown. So that's a pretty nice play. Also, if you have Prohibition and you have either Knight Assailant or Magician of Fate, they're basically invulnerable because you activate Prohibition, you say Nobleman of Crossout, then you set your guy, then you go into the next turn, and if they attack into it, so be it. But at least they're not getting knocked and they're not getting banished because you are running 3 of Magician of Fate and you're running the max amount of Knight Assailants, which is 2. So if you have Sook in hand, you're doing crazy plays with this because you're getting, you could gobble up so many monsters with Tear if you have Sook, right? You just keep taking their monsters face up, face down, whatever. If you have Knight Assailant or Magician of Fate, you just keep recycling that. That's free. And then because you're running lights and darks, you just sit on that BLS in your hand when you're ready for that creature swap combo. Or Zaborgs, he's a really important part of this combo because with Thousand Eyes, you can't attack with everything. So you tribute the Thousand Eyes for your Zaborg to clear him. So you gobble something up with, Tear, tribute Zaborg out, pop a monster. You can pop your own scapegoat token if you have to. And then you can special summon your BLS. You'll have your SEALMASTER with his 1100 attack. I don't know why it says 1900, 1400, 1900 attack. Sorry about that. But he'll have his little 1100 attack. Maybe that'll be enough to chip it for game. And then obviously your United Restand with all the tokens and with the creature swap, you just swing into one face up sheep token. They don't have any traps that are going to stop you. And there's no spells that are going to stop you unless they have enemy controller. But I'm trying to think of other ways that they could stop you. I can't think of any spell means, but that's the deck. Kind of just a crazy deck centered around SEALMASTER just to be funny and just a way of figuring how can I make a deck with strictly spells so it can back up this trap, negate, lockdown. And this is kind of the deck that I came up with. I was originally running an equipment deck and I was running like Heart of Clear Water, Metal Silver Armor. That one was crazy, way less wonky. or sorry, way more wonky. But this is like the updated version, and this was like the optimal version, I think, if you're gonna play SEALMASTER Meisai in 2021 GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know, just something I threw together. Hopefully you guys like it. I'm going to be coming out with a trap version of the deck, but also something I did want to shout out is that one of my subs, he left in the comment, and literally you probably noticed I respond to every single comment because I appreciate every single one. And he was telling me that he was trying to come up with the Dark Paladin Turbo deck, and he was curious how, it would come out if I took a stab at it. And well, I already built the deck, I already built the slides, and I'm just testing it out a little bit more. But Bryce, I got your deck, so hopefully it was worth your sub, man. Hopefully you guys let me know some other deck building ideas that you guys are coming up with. I'm always daydreaming about GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh decks, so I'd love to have one more deck to daydream about. Excited to be dropping more videos for you guys, and thanks again for the subs and the support. Take care, you guys.